I want to thank everybody on the stream for almost everybody for being really cool with your comments and in the chat even and the tip comments and everybody who sent in cards, everybody who sent in video messages, just to make this the one time where Perry is shown, just about 100% love. There were a couple of bad apples, but we love them too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
So thank you for coming out and showing that PCL love, and
Bam, bam, bam. You got it.
I think it was great because we all love you. At the end of the day, I think the message, Perry, is I think people like to have fun, and yes, they like seeing you blow up, and yes, they like seeing you scream at a McDonald's delivery guy, or well, actually not that, but they like screaming you at McDonald's. They like seeing you, lose it here and there. But the bottom line is people love you. People love you, and
That's what I want to hear.
they love PCL. That's at the core. That's at the core of everything, no matter what. No matter what. Okay.
Whoa.
We love you. We want to see you
Excuse
do
me.
well. We want to see you
Excuse me.
prosper,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
and we want you inside us.
Happy
Well,
birthday,
she has
Perry.
that. We can adopt this.
Happy birthday, Perry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I'm going brain dead right now because of it being so late and me being.
That's okay.
So
We're gonna call it a night. So what are you gonna do now? You're gonna throw out garbage?
I'm going to dump trash and then fall asleep between the trash bin and walking back into my house.
Okay, sounds good, Perry. Once again, and I wasn't lying when I said this in the card. I've wanted to say this to you for a very long time. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we'll see you on
And
Friday.
again,
Perry.
it's an honor, and I am so thankful and honored from all of you.
Good night, Perry.
We'll talk. Good night. All right. Okay. Okay.
What are you doing with your thing over there?
What do you mean?
What did you touch?
Just all these cards that came?
Oh,
The
hello,
9,000
happy birthday
cards that I read
to
past
you.
hours?
Happy birthday to you. Well, happy
Elvis.
birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Man,
go
there's so
away now,
much we
Elvis.
can do
See
on
ya.
your birthday. I'm so glad it's your birthday, baby. Oh, thank you very much for tuning in. Bye-bye.
I ain't your baby, baby. Thank you, Elvis, but I ain't your baby, baby. You got me, baby? All right, baby. Thank you very much, baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, baby.
Thanks for turning out for that, guys. I really didn't know how that was going to be. I was not joking earlier when I said, I was talking to Joey about it. I said, hey, this might be a really short stream tonight, because I don't know if a lot of people are going to want to turn out to a pleasant stream, basically. So, you guys did. You guys turned out. So it was great. And I knew it was different. And I know it was not your normal PCL stream. And I could sense some people were like, "Oh, this is boring," or putting me to sleep when it was like rapid fire positivity. But you need that every now and again, especially because he's been really hot and ornery lately. Even with me privately, he's very like quick to snap at things. But I think a reset like this is going to be good for the overall stream. You know what I mean? Like going forward. And yeah, and a lot of great things. Like over 1,000 viewers. That's been a milestone goal of us for a while now, hitting 1,000 views, and we did. We hit 1,000 views, so that was great, and I want to thank everybody for that. And I'm sure we got some new people in tonight, maybe people that watch Pajama Pants or something. But it was it was great. It was really great. It was great to see that number because I wasn't paying attention, and then I glanced up and I saw that we were well over. I saw that we were knocking on the door of it, like close. It was like high 900s, and I'm like, man, this is gonna be like 997, and then it was pretty. When I looked at it, it was like 1,020 at one point. So that was pretty great. But yeah, keep in mind though, again, if he didn't seem as grateful as you would like in some parts. I'm not making this up. This was legitimately his first birthday in decades. I think he said since he was 6 years old. So if you can imagine that. So he didn't know. He's never gotten really birthday cards. Like maybe he's got them as a joke or whatever. But he was definitely taken aback by it. But I'm sure I'll hear from him tomorrow, and he'll be very happy because this was a super positive stream. It was good. Yeah, he might cry tomorrow. We'll see, we'll see. But the cake and the candles was nice, and it's just nice to, not to have him eat fillet of fish for one night or bite into a crusty anchovy ridden Domino's. But I will say I might have to put the brakes on the McDonald's going forward, just for a little while, because it got really crazy yesterday. Not to give anything away, but I did tease this earlier. So there was a very interesting delivery at Costco that has to be seen to be believed. So I'll put that on. Pay attention to Patreon tomorrow. I'll put that up there. So that'll be good. It'll because I can't have. I think the McDonald's has been really bugging him lately, so I might have to dial that back just a little bit. Oh, it's more than a voicemail. It's full video. It's not just a voicemail. It's full video. I got a voicemail too, but it doesn't even. It doesn't even. It doesn't even hold a candle to. If it was only voicemail, it would be fine. It would be good. But to have the video, you guys will see it. I don't want to overtalk it. Let's move on to Burger King. You might have to. But yeah, this was a nice, rewarding a birthday, and just want to make it pleasant. Every now and again, we can have. And by the way, I thought he was very responsive to most positivity. You could throw in positive, and some people throw in positivity now and again. It's good because it's tough. Because you see how he reacts to one comment here on a stream where it's mostly positive. Think about it when he gets hit with it like over and over and over again. And I gotta say, I am sick to death of the RC92 stuff, especially the guy that writes in his RC. I mean, even tonight it was just like, come on, dude. It just didn't fit in with what we were doing. Is that why Perry's right side looks like he fell off his bike? Yes, kind of. Yes. So I'm glad you guys liked it. I saw a couple people in the comments were like, boring or Z, whatever, and that's fine. It's not, Perry. I guess Perry being happy is not for everybody, or Perry being treated nicely is not for everybody. But yeah. I think he did have a great stream tonight, though. He signed off happy. Hey, look, we got a non-shutdown ending. How rare is that, where he doesn't shut down? Yeah, people mostly held back, and I think a lot of people were still positive and threw in some, threw a jab in or whatever just to be clever or funny, which is fine. But there was nothing aggressively mean-spirited apart from a couple. apart from a couple. And I'm glad we can make Perry happy too, because he deserves it every now and again. You know, he really does. You know, he's doing well for himself, and I'm very proud of where things have evolved in the past year, and you know, I don't want to take all the credit for that because there's other people involved, but mainly Perry. I mean, think about this. Did you ever think that Perry would be the kind of guy to pull off 3 streams a week, doing on average 6 hours a stream? Did you ever think that he'd be that type of guy when this thing first started, when we would be doing it once in a while? Like, I didn't think so, but he's really grown into it, and he's very he was even a pretty good interviewer when, you know, he has a problem of not letting the other person talk in an interview, but I thought he was pretty good with Robert and Cassim, you know, and I was really glad that they came on. So, yeah, and shout outs to Dylan, the little girl. She was super cute, and she knows who Perry is. Remember, she went out to dinner with Perry, so she wasn't a complete stranger to the situation. And I think the only reason she came in is because Mark, her father, saw on the stream early that most of the not dirty, but like the paintings that are strange, you know, like the BJ Bibb one and everything, was all covered up by the boat. So I think that was a good thing. And she likes Perry, even though I think most people who are parents have to, you know, who watch PCL, let their kids like peek in on it, but then it gets too much and then they have to dial it back, you know. So besides porno hub, I didn't think Perry could focus on anything for 6 hours at a time. Yeah. Yeah. Poops talks to me, says, TomB, I got to say that the creativity that you guys have may have to make it where you might not have to bring up 92. I think we already do that. And honestly, the 92 stuff comes from the comments. And that's, you know, especially the people that complain about too much 92. Well, you know, this PCL is one thing where you're in control of it. You're in control of it. You know, you can, if you don't, that's why I always say it, again, you know, not to pick on people that don't contribute, but usually the people that complain the most contribute the least. And if you don't like the direction of something, like, oh, I'm sick of this being come up, or I'm sick of this trope or this, that, well, you have the ability to steer it in a different direction if you want. You know, we do too. But I think I think Perry and the whole team brings plenty of things to the table where 92 doesn't have to be leaned on so heavily, is what I'll say. But I get that a lot of people like it and don't want to give it up. I understand that. And every now and again, it is interesting and it can be funny. But every other minute, it gets a little monotonous. You know, I always like the innocent stuff. I like the fact that, you know, even like take this something as simple as like Perry with the popcorn or Perry with deliveries, something that's so innocent and harmless, but he's the one that turns it evil. He's the one that twists it into an evil thing. It's not us. It's not you guys. He's the one that's making it evil. Really, on the base level, he's just getting a delivery of food. He's the one that's making it like this evil, you know, omnipresent thing. Or even when he was getting popcorn things, you know, I guess that predates the stream a little bit. Or, you know, his microwave, or, you know, there's little things that come up. You know, me personally, I think the poop story is more interesting, even though that's been wrung dry a little bit. But I like the harmless stuff. The coffee, yeah, right. The coffee enema story that came out of nowhere. That's, and you just know that he has a ton of those in the bank somewhere. They just haven't come out yet. Tom, I still think one of the best stream moments is when you're role playing as Christina Applegate, asking Perry how come he was working on that set. I forgot about that. Yeah, was that TomB week, or no? That wasn't TomB week. That was me, just over the stream. I still want to know about Linda's cats. Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of that one day. I do want to get Linda on at one point, and I will do that. I have her number. I just got to write her and see if she'd be agreeable to come on and straighten that situation out. Can we still use his piss patio? I don't know. I mean, I think there's better places to take care of that in that area. But, if you're in the area, you got to go. You got to go. RC comments are getting old, but I think next year in the 30th anniversary, it's gonna have to. Yeah, I mean, it'll be mentioned, but I'm not gonna make a big deal out of that anniversary. I think that's been done. That's just my opinion. Danko says the Sheila call was the highlight. I wish she would have sang him happy birthday. I think she was a little taken aback that he was doing his stream. And then he had another guest over. He had somebody else on the phone. Somebody else in his apartment, which was Garrett. But we'll see what kind of Linda you get, right? If Linda ever goes on the stream. Like, will she be adversarial or will she be friendly? I don't know. That text message that I keep talking about, the one that I saw that she wrote way back in like March, where she just really laid into him, and that's the one where she said, "I will never forgive you what you did to my cat." So if we can get that, Linda, it will be interesting. This wasn't Sheila's first appearance either. She called in once before. Not called into the stream, but called Perry, and he happened to be on the stream, and he took the call. No, that wasn't me doing Elvis. No, I was just quickly looking for a happy birthday song to go out with that, isn't like copyright or anything like that. So I found one that said happy birthday Elvis version, and it was this dude that doing Elvis. So I was like, okay, that'll be fun to go out with. Were you guys singing, by the way, when you were watching Perry blow out his candles, or before he blew out his candles, when everybody was singing happy birthday to him on the stream, were you guys singing along at home? I'd like to think that you were. Yeah, Sheila's really shy. We've asked her many times, even just to take some video of the process of her dyeing Perry's hair, and she's just given hard no's all the time. Hard no. Oh, Kitty sang? Cool. Joey sang? Awesome. I was gonna, it's funny, my original plan was to get a bunch of people to call in involved at PCL, but I think we'll just save that for New Year's Eve, because, we got really backed up tonight and there was a lot of things going on. Plus, Joey has a cold, so let's all give Joey our well wishes that he feels better. Okay, a lot of people sang. That's cool. I don't know. I thought it was cool. It's like this time last year. I think, did we stream on his birthday last year? I don't think we did when he was on OnlyFans, but I remember wishing him a happy birthday. And I think last year he softened up a little bit. In prior years, when he was like hardcore Jehovah's Witness, he was like, "Don't you dare wish me a happy birthday." And last year it was like, all right, I really shouldn't be celebrating that, but thank you. And then this year he's way into it. Maybe next year will be even different. You know what I mean? Like maybe next year we can have actually a physical party. Like, but by that I mean like maybe we can have a get together somewhere or something. I don't know. But it was just nice. It's nice, especially for people that have known Perry a long time and know how resistant he was to celebrating a birthday, that he got that. So, Joey's drunk too. Yeah, I had a couple of drinks during the stream when Garrett, and there's a couple of times I darted. I did a classic Perry dart from my chair. When was one of them? When was the thing when he was reading cards early on? And I came back and it was a card scam. I made myself a quick drink with the Bartesian. The Bartesian's like this. It's like a cocktail maker that's like a Keurig. It's really I gotta recommend to anybody that enjoys a good cocktail. So I made like a Mai Tai. You just put you have like different containers for different alcohol. You have like there's a glass a jar full of vodka and a jar full of whiskey and a jar full of rum and a jar full of gin and tequila, and you basically put the pod in and you select the whatever you want. You want margarita, you want a mai tai, you want a whiskey sour, whatever. So I put a mai tai in and I made it strong, and I didn't take very long. I put a cherry in there, and then I came back, and then it was a scam. And then I made another drink when Garrett and him were opening mail. So TomB should do the entire TomB should give Perry a night off and do the entire stream as Perry. I think that'll be really hard on my voice. I don't think we'd last very long with that. But I got all the beats down. You got to open up happy, like, welcome to Subscribers Sunday. If you'd like to get a phone call from me, send your number to Joey, and I will talk to you. And then, flash forward to 6 hours later. Get me the fuck off this motherfucking stream, please. I am done. I'm ripped. God damn, you motherfuckers. Go through the whole thing. Will the next Perry birthday be a pool party? Maybe in his new place we'll have a cool pool party. Maybe we rent the place. I don't know. Probably not. In November it's tough to have a pool party anywhere in the continental United States. I always like when he does the media share intro, and he'll be doing it on a Friday, because he'll do media share Friday, like, welcome to Media Share Wednesday. If you would like to share media, get it to Joey, and he will... No, Perry, it's not... nothing to do with Joey. Oh, okay. Excuse me. No, they send it in through the, the Streamlabs tip thing. And he's like playing along like he knows. But he's doing a much better job. You gotta give him credit. You gotta give him credit. The one thing I noticed going back a year ago, even to the very first stream, and I don't know if I've ever articulated this before, is, again, I thought it would be kind of a disaster, but Perry's engagement with the camera, even though he darts away and bops and does his desk stuff and runs away to the bathroom and everything like that, he engages with the camera where your average person thrown into this situation would not. And okay, obviously he's been an actor, he's been in front of cameras before, but this is different. Not every person who tries to be a streamer is successful about it, because you have to be natural. You have to, I don't know, have a certain kind of attraction to what's going on in the stream. And yes, he's not always on focus, but most of the time he is. He's very good with engaging, where people don't tune away. Is New Year's Eve the next phone call stream, or is that potentially scheduled for that? No, the next phone call stream, there's only one, and it just happened to work out this way. No, okay. So there's a Subscriber Sunday on the 28th, the Sunday after Thanksgiving. That's a phone call if you're a subscriber on Twitch. And then 12/12/21 is Subscriber Sunday. That's also calls. And I don't know if maybe we'll do calls on New Year's Eve, because we did that last year, but I don't know. I haven't worked out. I was thinking, though, because originally, I was going to do the microwave thing for the 1 year anniversary, but we're not technically streaming on the 1 year anniversary. So I was actually thinking of doing that New Year's Eve. I thought that would be a good New Year's Eve thing, or cliffhanger, if you will, or teaser, is to have him smash the microwave on New Year's Eve. So I know that's a little further down the road than we originally talked about, but I think that would be a good New Year's Eve thing, is for him to just like smash the shit out of it on New Year's Eve. I don't know, maybe Garrett could help or something like that. But obviously he'll have enough money to buy a top of the line microwave, which is what he's worried about. So when he says no, it'll happen. But I was thinking of doing that New Year's Eve. and we got a lot to live up to for New Year, because last New Year's Eve was really, I think, the first Twitch stream that kind of broke through and really molded PCL into what it is. Whereas leading up to that, we were still trying to find our way, and like, it was always built around Perry engaging to tip comments and things like that. But there was sporadic streams from between Thanksgiving and throughout December. I remember having a pretty good Christmas Eve stream where he opened mail, and we'll do another Christmas Eve stream. But I think that New Year's Eve stream really was the thing that kind of formed PCL into what it is. So it's a lot to live up to this New Year's Eve, and I'm not going to even try to compare it. It'll just be, it'll be another stream. It'll be a mailbag and everything like that. But we'll see what happens. It's still a ways away. Is it going to be as long as the last one? I don't know. The last one's going to be tough to beat. That was 10.5 hours. And keep in mind, he was still doing streams once in a while back then. But there is some distance between, it might be long, because Christmas Eve, the 24th of December, we're going to do a stream at 11 a.m. Pacific, an early stream. And I got to do that because I have dinner plans with my parents, so I have to have a hard out at like 6 p.m. East Coast time. And I think a lot of people have Christmas Eve plans, so early in the day, it'll be an early day stream. And then there's no stream until New Year's Eve, because we're taking Christmas week off, so we'll be back New Year's Eve. So maybe he should be pretty well rested by then. So it could be long, but you can't plan it like that. You know what I mean? You can't plan it. Chill. Hey, Tom, thanks for all you do. Thank you for all you do, and thanks for supporting the stream. But I appreciate that. I've been sent a lot of nice comments, especially this past week between the anniversary, Perry's birthday, and facilitating certain things, and even with Perry being on the Pajama Pants podcast. So I really appreciate that. So this one guy, I shared it with Joey. I don't even want to read it because it's so unbelievably complimentary, to the point where I'm embarrassed by it. Like, it was really nice. But it was nice. I do like the personal messages, but I don't want to make it all about me because it's Perry. Yeah, and as Joey says, we didn't plan on going 10.5 hours last New Year's. It just went that way. So I think if you plan for it to be long, it's a road to ruin. I think you just plan to do whatever it is, and you go for as long as you can. And then, you see, like, Perry was losing his steam tonight at a certain point. You only got so much to work with. And then sometimes he gets a second wind. I think what happened with New Year's Eve is we were losing him for a bit, especially when he took that devil's blood. Was it Satan's blood? I can never get that right. But then he got a second wind. And if Perry gets a second wind, I'll get a second wind. The one thing I remember about New Year's Eve last year is Scott, who's I've always said is the godfather of PCL. He was right with us that entire stream, and basically he was on the line with Perry and I, because I was in Perry's ear giving him direction back then. I wasn't really on the phone. If I was on his speakerphone, and Scott did all 10.5 hours of the stream and then went to work, and then worked like an insane 12-hour shift, and then came home. And I couldn't imagine that, because I signed off that stream and I collapsed into bed, just completely collapsed. Because I think, what time did that end? I forget what time it ended. The sun was up and the birds were chirping for me, that's for sure. It was crazy. How did Pajama Pants come about? Well, excuse me. Hold on, I can take a drink of water. I've been trying to get Perry on some podcasts, but sometimes they come to you, and in terms of Pajama Pants, Robert Eiler reached out to me personally, uh, and like just hit me up. He slid into my DMs on Instagram, and was just talking about how much he loved the stream, and was basically saying, "Hey, I have a podcast. My name's Robert Eiler, and da 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 da. And I just want to say, you guys are amazing. It's like all I watch. He's like, I'm like obsessed with it." And then we got a little friendly and we started talking. And then he was like, "Hey, would Perry ever want to come on the?" I didn't push it, but he was like, "Hey, would Perry be willing to be a guest on Pajama Pants?" And then I was like, "Yeah." And then we worked out the beats of it. And then we talked on the phone a few times. And it was just amazing to me, like how much he knew about PCL. And he didn't know anything. He really, I think Cassim knew the movie longer, but Robert was pretty new to Perry, to the point of, I think only really knew the movie through Cassim, and he'll correct me if I'm wrong. And then PCL, like, started watching the streams and just got like absorbed in it. So they do really deep cuts, like even the stuff he was talking about in the stream. And then he also listens to After Hours, because I forget what we were talking about, but we were comparing things, and he was like, "Well, it's like you said that one time on After Hours. You said blah blah blah," and I was like, "Wow, you listen to After Hours? That's pretty sick." So shout out to Robert. Just really cool. So that's how it came about, and it went over really well. If you haven't seen it, go check out their podcast. They were amazing. They were just really great with him. They really handled him really well. So I think he'll definitely be back on that at some point. But there's another podcast that's pretty big that there's interest in, and that's one that I pitched for. So we'll see if that ends up happening. But yeah, and I think the rule of thumb is, because there's been, by the way, there's been a lot of podcasts that have asked either Perry or myself or both to go on to promote PCL or whatever. And my rule of thumb, and I think this is a good rule of thumb for anybody, if you do this kind of thing, is you don't want to go on a podcast that has less audience than you, because that looks desperate, and I always think that's a bad thing. And you see people do that, where it's mostly I don't know why comedians, because it's definitely not actors, but it's basically like, I guess comedians, and I always throw comedians under the bus because they're so desperate for attention. But literally, there's some comedians that will go on a podcast, like if one of you guys starts a podcast tomorrow and hits up 20 comedians, 10 will get back to you and say that they'll do it. You know what I mean? Like they'll do your podcast. Meanwhile, not knocking anybody who starts a podcast from here, but maybe you want to wait a little bit before it builds an audience. So I've looked at some ones that we've been asked to do, and again, it's if you have less subscribers on YouTube than Perry does, than Perry Caravello Live does, it's probably not a good thing. But I'm always very cool about it. I'm not a jerk about it. I'll say, hey, we have this, not a rule, but hey, get back to me when you build up your audience a little bit more. And again, Perry would love to do it or whatever. But I just think it's a bad rule of thumb. You want to punch up. You don't want to punch down. And just getting one that getting a podcast like Pajama Pants is amazing, because they have a lot of reach, they have a lot of fans, and they have a lot of you look at some of their episodes, that they've got insane amount of views. So that's just the kind of rule of thumb. Otherwise, you're just wasting your time. That's the way I look, because it's a lot of work also getting Perry ready to do another show. It's exhausting. So you don't want to do that for like somebody who has like 9 listeners. I don't think Perry will ever be on Jerry. I don't think Jerry's in the periphery at all. I don't see that happening. In addition to podcasts, my hope is that Perry will get more offers for TV spots, such as Smiling Friends. Not sure what kind of shows, but I'm sure there are. Yeah, there's a couple of offers out there, and by a couple I mean literally two. One of which is probably going to happen, and the other one seems a little far off, but definitely, yeah. Look, Perry is very like the Smiling Friends things came about because of the stream, so it's a possibility. Now, I think his wheelhouse is definitely guest spots and things like that. But if you write a character that's easy for him to play, because people always say that with like not Perry but anybody, that like there'll be certain actors that always kind of like quote unquote play themselves, like, oh, they're just playing a version of themselves. I think that takes a little bit of talent though, because yes, you're playing a version of yourself and maybe you're playing the same type of character all the time, but you still have to be natural in front of a camera. It's not easy just even if you are just quote unquote playing yourself or playing a version of yourself, that still takes effort, and that takes a certain kind of nuance. But as you can see, Perry needs to be directed. So as long as he has an understanding director or somebody who gets him, then he's fine. That's what I think anyway. What am I wearing, and am I cold? I'm not that cold. It's not that bad. I'm wearing I don't know. I'm just wearing a hoodie. So. Chris just messaged me. What do we think about switching to Carl's Jr. and make Perry hate them? You could probably make them hate. Make them hate that. Make him hate Carl's Jr. at some point. Hey, from Toronto, Canada. By the way, Canada is also a solid PCL country behind Australia, though. It's North America, Australia, then Canada. Then I think the United Kingdom. I was looking at the demographics, mainly via Twitch, and it was that was the order. That was the pecking order. It was North America, Australia, and then Canada. And I really like Toronto. I've been to Toronto a few times. I think Toronto was always to me like if New York and London had sex and had a kid, it would be Toronto, because I think it's got great elements of both. A lot of elements I love about London and a lot of elements I love about New York City are found in Toronto. So I think it's a great city. I'm good at looking at the camera, but not good at looking in someone's eyes. That's interesting. You're probably better off looking in the camera. Oh, we're in the UK. Wow, how late is it there? Oh, I guess it's early morning. God, it's late here. It's 3:17. I didn't realize the time. It's about 8:17 in UK time, right? Jeez. Wow. That's a good point too about getting back to the comedians thing who do any podcast. Like Hannah says, they all have podcasts, so they almost like do themselves favors. Like you almost gotta do any podcast that asks you to do it because you want people to do yours. So Canada right now is cold as fuck. We have nothing to do for the next 6 months but stare at Perry's raft and dream of summer. Yeah, I hear you. This time of year is so goddamn depressing. I'm just not used to. I hate daylight savings time. I was saying to somebody the other day, I said I will vote for any president that vows to get rid of daylight savings time. I will abandon any moral, any ideological thing that I have, any kind of like, fiscal responsibility of politics. I will vote for the most extreme leftist socialist, and I will vote for the most extreme right lunatic if they promise to get away with this, getting dark at 4:30 p.m. thing. I'll vote for that because it's just so not necessary anymore. I hate it. And early morning people love it because like, oh, I don't like going to, I like going to work with the sun out. I don't care. I'm not a morning person. I never have been. And I just get downright depressed when it's 5 p.m. and it's pitch black outside. I cannot stand it. So kudos to the states that completely ignore it. I just don't like it. I hate it. And I know there's some people that like it. I don't understand it. I guess it's mainly like I have a couple of friends who are teachers, so they like driving to work with daylight out. They don't like driving to work in the dark, which I guess I can understand, but it just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense now. It made sense like 100 years ago. For farmers and stuff like that. But yeah, I know Ben Franklin, but it's got to be done away. I think there's been talks of it being done away with. Like it's been pitched, but nobody really has brought it to the table. But I will rally behind anybody where their platform is getting rid of daylight savings time. I am behind that person, no matter what their other policies are. It doesn't matter. Was I around for the chili cook out at Perry's place? Yes, I was inside, and I sampled Perry's chili. Unfortunately, yes, I was there. But yeah, I don't know. So when does it go back? Is it April, where we spring forward? Is it April or is it? I think it's April. My dad actually last week forgot about it, and he had an appointment, and he got there like crazy early, and he was like, and he called me. He's like, I don't understand why. And I was like, Dad, did you set your clock back? He's like, and there was a silent moment for a minute. He was like, oh, I forgot. I was like, oh, okay. My parents were always right on top of that, so that's a sign that they're getting old. Like, and honestly, the only reason I know about it is because people mention it, and also all of my things set pretty much by themselves. Like your smartphone, you don't have to set. Very rarely, in a modern home, do you have to physically set any clocks. Like I think I had to set the microwave, and that was it. The timer, the time on the microwave, but that was the only thing. Everything else, I was just like, oh, here we go. I heard it was coming. Like I knew. I don't know, somebody mentioned it, like maybe even on the stream, like, oh, it's daylight savings time starting this Saturday. I was like, oh, okay. And then by Sunday, when I looked at my phone, I was like, oh, yeah, that's the time now. We'll just live with that. You'd rather have Ed Gaines chili? Yeah, it was pretty nasty. But yeah, anyway, maybe we can form a petition about that. I like that. Hannah says that Perry's Credenza should be converted to a poolside chili prep station. I wonder if there's enough money, and that's the thing. I'll tell you a takeaway I had of tonight is physical money, physical cash is way more persuasive to Perry than digital cash. And what I mean digital is where he just sees dollar signs on the stream, like a tip comment or even an offer or something like that. When he hears it, it doesn't resonate as much as actually seeing it. Like his reaction to opening that card that had the $100 bill, he was like, wow. It's like, yeah, Perry, but Tony sent you $100 earlier, and you were like, thank you, Tony, thank you, very nice, thank you, I love you, brother, thank you. But this gets the wow, oh my God, it's just like that physical, that so, he's so, trying not to use the word boomer, because I hate that it's overused so much, but it's just that he's so old school. I'll say old school. Yeah, General Dipwad. He loved it. He loved it. He praised it. Oh my God, that's such a generous gift too. Thank you for sending that to him. I mean, he was so happy to see it. It's a physical representation, because he doesn't necessarily get that. Everything's on his card or at his account, and the numbers are there, but seeing it in person is a different thing. It's just like, wow. So cash is king in that instance. Even the dollar, and here's the other thing, because he often slams people for like, oh hey Perry, hashtag smash the wave. Like, $5? You could take your $5 and shove it. It's like, yeah, okay, Perry, but it's still somebody sending $5 and it adds up. And he was even happy about a $1 bill because thank you very much, thank you, and it was just like he saw the dollar bill. So as I was watching that, I was kind of processing it, like, man, he's so Perry because he's so excited, and I was by the way, I was so happy for him that he had that, those cards with the cash in it. And thank God none of them got lost in the mail. But at the same time, I was just like, man, it's like, you should be a little more appreciative of a lot of the other things. But I think, again, you can't expect Perry to be appreciative of every single thing. That's what makes him him. That's what makes him unique. That's what makes him special. That's why we're all here, is because he's special. Because if he was appreciative of everything, it would get pretty boring. But yeah, his eyes lit up. I'd have to go back and watch that because like he was so distracted by it. Garrett needs a fanny pack of cash for emergency offers. Yeah, we should just pool all our money and send it to Garrett, and then he's like he's the money man. He's like Virgil to like the $1 Million Man, where he like would snap his fingers and Virgil would come out with a couple of hundreds to like get kids out of a pool or something. If you remember the $1 Million Man, he always had cash at the ready. Did I get sad that Perry didn't choke up at my card? No, I didn't write it for him to get choked up. I wrote it to, make him happy. No, I'm not a fan of Perry crying necessarily. So no, that was not my goal. I just want to, I always wanted to wish him a happy birthday and have it resonate. And I got that, that I was able to get that this year. So that was very nice. I was really... I got to say, something has gone wrong with the post office. I had to wait because I sent it priority because I had to buy another card for a fan in Australia, the guy from Adelaide. He just basically wrote me in a direct message what he wanted to write in the card, and I just bought the card and wrote it in for him, rather than him sending it to Australia because it wouldn't get there in time. So I sent them both in like a small priority envelope, and man, I had to wait at this. I was waiting in line at this post office for 45 minutes. There was one person working. They were like, and by the way, everybody ahead of me had some super complicated thing, like they were getting a passport renewed, but the postmaster even came out and was like, "I'm sorry, there's been cutbacks." I just hadn't been inside a post office. I don't think I'd been inside a post office. Geez, I might have been once last year, but I haven't been in a post office really post-pandemic, and it is unbelievably bad. Like, just the cutback. They were telling me, like, yeah, it's really bad. They cut back their budget. So, and it even took a long time to get there, because I sent it on Thursday of last week. He only got it, I think, yesterday, and I was like, that's a long time for priority, for a small priority. Usually priority was basically like 2 days anywhere in the country. So the United States Post Office is definitely not what it used to be. But man, see, I'm old school like that. If I have some packages to mail out, like even like I used to sell stuff on eBay. If I like, I was selling like a bunch of records and stuff. And I would always old school it and like, write out the label and bring it to the post office. But now they have things you just print out your own label and just drop it off there. It's just, why wait in line? It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. But yeah, it's you can never underestimate the mail and how convenient it is. The United States Post Office specifically. But boy, they're on hard times for sure. I don't know what their budget constraints are, but I felt it. We should make it rain on Perry. He would lose his mind. Like, he'd be like, "What are you doing?" He'd go crazy. What did I think of Michael Richards' material at Laugh Factory? Um, I think it's disappointing that that happened right at the start of people being able to record video on their phones. That's actually, I think, pre iPhone, because I think whoever recorded that did it on their BlackBerry or something, or maybe even a flip phone, because the video quality is not that good. I think it only captures that one unfortunate moment, but I would have liked to have seen his whole act or more of it. So I can't say I've seen his act because I only saw that thing. I did find it funny. I was watching a Dave Chappelle stand up where he was at the Laugh Factory, and it's got that big round Laugh Factory logo behind him, and he had this great line where he's like, "Man," he goes, "every time I see this stage, all I could think about is fucking Kramer." And it's true. Every time I see the laugh, like any kind of like little like online clip of some comedian on stage at the Laugh Factory, and they got that logo, I'm just like, oh, that's where Kramer lost his mind. That's where Michael Richards completely uh, went crazy. Any luck on getting an RTX 3090? No, I ended up getting a 3080 Ti, which is doing pretty well. So yeah, and now I heard that I was reading about the 4080s are going to be even more insane whenever they come out. But yeah, it's been working fine for me. Hey Tom, I made 3 custom cards and sent them over a week ago. I guess they didn't get there in time. That's that's insane to me that it sent over a week ago. Either that or he didn't get to it yet. Any leftover mail we're going to get to on Friday, because I was really trying to get to all the cards, and I'm sorry that you made custom cards and they didn't get there. Yeah. So I'll double check. I'm assuming you sent it to the post office, the Tarzana address. Somebody sent me a thing like, "Hey, I sent Perry this thing, and it got there, but they didn't get a, they didn't." God, it was from a couple of weeks ago. I was like, "Oh, I never saw Perry open." And I was like, "Oh, did you send it to the post office?" Like, "Yeah," and I was like, "The Tarzana," and they were like, "No, Canoga Park." I was like, "Ooh, he hasn't had that one in a long time." Like the old Canoga Park address, which we promoted on the stream for a long time, but. Yeah, it's all the Tarzana address now, but I think that was just that one thing. Kramer Brewer. Do you think Michael Richards can ever come back? I mean, I don't think he necessarily needs to come back. He probably has enough money, even though he doesn't have like Seinfeld or Larry David money. He's got money, but yeah, I don't know. I guess that's hard to come back from. Do I think RC knows he's this famous in the Perry Caravello world? Oh, he knows for sure. Yeah, I've spoken to him. He knows. Yeah, he knows. Not spoken to him on the phone, but communicated with him extensively. Did I hear about Ted DiBiase getting in trouble embezzling money from his church? No, I did not. Is that new? I knew he's like a preacher or a minister or some kind. That's interesting. Danko, I was worried my package wouldn't make it in time. I felt lucky it made it. Yeah, it was good. I thought you getting a place of honor on the CD rack, it was pretty cool, and of course it was stacked. So I thought that was great. Danko said, "Oh, you use the post office." Okay, so it's not just me. Other people have this post office thing, and this time of year is probably even worse. So yeah, it was just really difficult getting something out in the mail. It's just unbelievable. I was ready to give up. I was like, man, can I go to another location? And apparently, it's just it's all post office. It's not just the one I went to, and the one I went to was always reliable. I went out of my way to go there too, because I knew they were really efficient, and it was a big one, and I knew they were open. They had more pickups during the day because I really wanted this thing to get there in time. Oh, Garrett's dad retired from working at the post office. Wow. He pushed me to be a mailman. Well, look, that was always a great job. I mean, really, just incredible benefits and everything, but maybe not anymore. Speak of the devil, Perry just sent me a text. Instead of booking Garrett on the stream, kindly book Jenny Garth next time. So Jenny Garth's going to come over and help him open mail. That's what he's worried about. I would like to say I was really worried tonight that he would be all about Gina, and even though it was a little bit, he didn't get too caught up in the Gina weeds, even though he did make it his wish for his birthday cake blowout. Kramer was back in Curb Your Enthusiasm. Yeah, but that was it. I mean, he got in Curb because obviously he was in Seinfeld. And I thought they handled him really well, but yeah, you didn't hear from him after that. He was on that one episode of like that Comedians in Cars, which I'd watch once in a while, but yeah, that's it. I haven't heard from him since. Oh, it happened last year with DiBiase. I have to look that up. I was actually watching some old DiBiase, I shouldn't say DiBiase, $1 Million Man promos, because I was showing I made a reference. I was like making a pop culture reference to the $1 Million Man. I was like, oh yeah, you're like the $1 Million Man, and he was like, who's the $1 Million Man? And I was like, who's the $1 Million Man? Well, let me tell you. And then I took it to YouTube and I showed some old school promos. Like the promos where the early promos when the $1 Million Man was coming into the WWF, and he had Virgil, who was his assistant, and he'd be going into a place. Like there was a public pool one time. I never made any sense. Like why would the $1 Million Man be going to a public pool? But there were all these kids and families, and he was trying to get the guy to close the pool so we could have private time. And then he was like snapping his fingers, like Virgil, and like he's like, how long is this going to take? Or he goes into a doctor's office and he just bribes the receptionist to get him in with like dollar bills. Very 80s and very very good. But no, I didn't know about his embezzlement. That's a bummer. Did I get the weeds overlay for OBS? I did. I can show it to you actually. Or can I? The problem is I gotta figure it out. I'll show it to you. It's yeah, I have it. This is the blank screen. The problem is when I try it, I got to get the blue out, and I got to figure out a way to overlay. It's hard with OBS-C. Problem is it turns blue like this, and I got to figure out how to key it in. But yeah, this would be it if I can get the blue screen overlaid the right way. I really tried testing it out, but yes, I have it. It's close to working, as you can see. I just haven't completely. This would be great if like Perry's talking about skateboarding or something like that. Yeah, so that's it. Tom gets into the weeds. Yes, I get into the weeds, but weeds are allowed on After Hours. We can get into the weeds here a little bit on minutia. I try not to do it on PCL, and sometimes I do, and I catch myself. But I'm definitely guilty. By the way, I do not come off as like somebody, like a lot of the things I chastise Perry about, I am definitely guilty of. Definitely. I am very weedsy when it comes to certain subjects. I wonder how long it would take Perry to find out that with the weeds. He'd be like, what the fuck is that? $1 Million Man was about greasing palms for favors, and that's it. No, he was more than that. He was also, Ted DiBiase was a very talented wrestler because he had wrestled, just under Ted DiBiase before they, Vince McMahon, to give him credit, he was always looking to come up with a character that was like it's a trend that was popular at the time. And, of course, the 80s, it was, wealth and money, like Wall Street and all that kind of stuff. So they made him this character, but he'd be an obnoxious heel where, like, he'd call people up into the ring to like do demeaning things for money, and he'd literally like, throw money at them, or like tease people. So it was a very good gimmick, and he sold it really well. So it was more than just that, and I'm probably not doing the greatest job of explaining it, but just look it up. Look it up. Tom gets romantically obsessed with 90s female celebrities. Boy, somebody has my number. UHF is a great film. I like Michael Richards on Fridays. Yeah, I did too, and Michael Richards is great in UHF. UHF, by the way, is a weird... I remember seeing it... I don't think I... No, I didn't see it in the theater when it came out because I was too young, but I remember... Not that I was too young, I just didn't see it. I saw it like when it came on HBO or whatever, and it always looked, even when it was new, it looked very 80s and dated, even though I think it came out in 89. And then I read that it was filmed in like 85, and it was on the shelf for like 3 or 4 years. So that's why it looks so, it looks even more 80s than the year it was released. But that's because it was filmed. I forget the ins and outs of it. It could have been a situation where it was filmed under one studio and then they went under and another studio picked up the rights and it just sat on the shelf. So, do I know anything about King Cobra? He could use a PR man handler like you. No, I don't, but I will say I have my hands full, and I don't think I could take any new clients on. I should do a little gaming on After Hours in some way. Yeah, I could do that at some point. Yeah, at some point. Again, this is not the ideal setup. This is not my ideal setup for After Hours, staring at this stupid graphic. I'll get that situated at one point. My priority is PCL, and right now we're working on getting the merch launched, which I think people should like. We're going to start off pretty basic, just like logos and shit like that, and then we'll add stuff going forward. But we have a website that's almost ready to go. It looks really good and clean and super efficient. Garrett's seen it. I think Joey's Joey's seen it. Garrett's seen it. So it looks really good. I think you guys are gonna like it. So that I've been working on a lot of other things. After Hours is not my top priority at the moment. DiBiase and IRS was a pretty good tag. Yeah, what were they called? Money Incorporated, I think their name was. I think it was Money Incorporated, the tag team of Erwin R. Shyster and Ted DiBiase. That was after DiBiase's main run when he did the tag team thing. He was still good, but his first few years were fantastic. Are we gonna have a Jesus painting shirt? Yeah, I definitely, yeah. Not at launch, but definitely at some point. Give Perry the fire hose. I remember UHF having a really good trailer. I forget how I saw the trailer, but I remember seeing the trailer like, oh my god, I have to see this movie. Mike and I said, I thought the 10th anniversary of the Kramer Laugh Factory incident would have been a good comeback, but people would have thought 10 years was enough, but doubt he wants to come back. Yeah, I just don't think he wants to bother with it. I don't know. I remember where I was when that happened, because now you're used to that kind of thing. Like, a meltdown of some kind is captured. But at the time, it was a pretty big deal. I was in Chicago, and I remember that story broke. I was... I think I was in a record store in Chicago with a friend, and we were just like record shopping, and the guys behind the counter were talking about like, oh my god, did you hear about Kramer? And they played it on a computer monitor, and then like everybody in the store that was even shopping had to go up to the counter and watch what it was. Like, oh my god, play it again. That was the first time I ever heard of TMZ too. I never heard of TMZ before that, because they must have bought the video. You can't find a video that's not tagged with TMZ on it, because they must have bought the video from the guy that shot it on his phone. And it was the uncensored version, because there's two versions. There's the censored and the uncensored. And oh my God, we just couldn't believe it. And I think we stood in that record store, every customer and the employee, like we were just watching it. Play it again, please. I'm sorry. Play that again. You got okay. And then by the 10th time he played it, like he didn't have to look around to see if anybody wanted to play it again. It was just an automatic replay. Like yeah, play. Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it. I never saw anything like that. And then now of course it's not as. I mean, I guess it would still be shocking, but I just meant like capturing the video of that, like somebody having because back in my day, back I don't know, that's 2006, so a little bit before that, the only way you can get video like that is if you actually smuggled in a camcorder. You know what I mean? Like you didn't have that pocket, camera built into your phone. It wasn't a thing. So it's just crazy. I was high and I saw it on TV and was mesmerized. Yeah, and it made the news too. It was crazy. And then Jerry Seinfeld himself had to talk about it because I think at the time he was promoting like Seinfeld on DVD, like a box set or something like that. Because I remember he was on Letterman anyway. He wasn't booked on Letterman to talk about that, but of course he had to talk about it. And then there's that super cringy, awkward Letterman appearance where Michael Richards is piped in via satellite while Jerry is a guest in the studio, and he's like shell shocked and apologetic, and the studio audience is laughing thinking it's a bit, and Seinfeld has to tell the audience to stop laughing, that it's not funny. It's so uncomfortable and douche chilly. I highly recommend watching it if you haven't seen it. But I honestly though I feel bad for Michael Richards because it's just you can just tell he lost his mind. My friend had his handheld recorder confiscated at a Jerry Seinfeld show in a small town. It's funny. I always recorded both Gilbert Gottfried and Norm Macdonald whenever I saw them live. And after Norm passed away, I've been meaning to go through like some hard drives and find my Norm Macdonald live recordings and just like upload them to YouTube. But I've never been caught. I never got caught for that. I always made it up. Yeah, that's right. DJ says, yeah, Seinfeld was like, please stop laughing. How to get DSP involved? DSP was made a very, I'll say, a decent offer by our own Dr. Gunk to see if he'd be interested in doing an interview. And he's yet to respond. So he knows where to find us. But that was real. But so maybe because I got to work on that. I got to work on the video of Perry. Although it worked okay today. But I want to work on it a little bit more. But at least now we've proven we can do a video interview. So that could happen. Who knows? It's up to Phil. Phil doesn't seem like. I mean, I think he's still. I don't know if it's as rampant, but I remember like 6 months ago, or even beyond that, when the feuds first started happening and people were any mention of Perry would get you an Instaban or Instablock from old Phil. So you have to offer Phil a lot of money to get a response. He was offered a lot of money. Okay, it's Dr. Gunk we're talking about. Dr. Gunk doesn't mess around. Dr. Gunk made him a very generous offer. So we'll see if that plays out. I don't know if it will. But it was a while ago now, and we haven't heard anything from Phil. So he was pretty sure the offer went through to him, and he received at least the offer. Whether or not he accepts, it's up to him. Whatever happened to the Perry voicemail cartoons? Are new ones being made? Possibly, there's definitely somebody who's offered, but not the original guy, because the original guy got a job that kind of took his time away. But yeah, I would love to see those return, because there's definitely some recent ones that are begging to be animated, begging. The only thing that trumps money is Phil's ego. Yeah, I don't know much about Phil. I only know what people say about him. I never watched him. I never heard about him until he became a thing with PCL. So I don't know. I don't know what motivates him or not. I just hear the rumors and the hearsay. And I've seen clips like and 1337's channel. Like I've seen clips on there that I find interesting. Did it ever come out though? I guess I've asked this question before. I can never get a real answer. Why he was removed from the partnership program on Twitch? And I know some people say that he said the N word or something like that, but he really didn't say it. But there's got to be more to it than that. Can we get a 0 to 10 rating on Sheila's voice? I thought she has a nice voice. She has a nice voice. I would give her a solid 6.8 out of 10. It's nice, but definitely she's definitely got some kind of accent to her. How many people came? I'd be curious to know this, including lurkers. How many people came to PCL from DSP or hating DSP? Never heard of Perry before the DSP thing, or and you came from AN 1337 or some other way. You came from the DSP universe, whether you were pro or hated him or trolled him or whatever. I'd be curious. Press 1 if you came to PCL in any way, shape, or form from DSP. Opium Death did. Never heard of DSP before. Okay, a few people. Rick found out from AN 1337. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's definitely a strong contingent of people that came from the DSP world over to Perry. And the thing that I've heard from like AN 1337 is that Perry gives them more than Phil ever did in terms of what they always wanted Phil to be. Perry kind of is. So yeah, we just got to get Perry gaming, and it'll really put everything together. And Matt Ryan's the other way around. He started following AN 1337 from PCL. Cool, that's great. Yeah, I love AN 1337. Wheezy rates Hannah's voice a 10 5-star. Hannah's never called in, to my knowledge. Janet, though, I will agree. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, like the different crossovers, you know. And then now I think I would have to imagine there were some people that watched Perry on Pajama Pants, not knowing who he was, and then we're watching tonight because, yeah, like tonight we had insane. I was surprised at how many viewers there were tonight, and it held strong at like 9. You know, even though it went above 1,000 for a while, it held strong at like 900 for a long time for a stream that's not necessarily a traditional PCL stream where he was, you know, basically being showered with praise. So I was very interested at that. Perry is a better person than DSP, miles ahead of DSP. Interesting. I like it when DSP eats food, but he only does it once a month. Perry eats food 3 times a week. Definitely more than 3 times a week. Definitely more than 3 times a week. But Well, anyway, I think I'm gonna wrap it here. I want to state again. I wanted to hang out a little bit just to kind of say thank you to everybody for making Perry feel special and giving him a nice birthday tonight. I didn't know how tonight was going to go. I didn't want to over plan it, and I didn't want to. I kind of wanted to make it organic, to borrow a turn of phrase from Perry, but it worked out, I think, and everybody who contributed to the video messages, I thought that worked really well, and the cards and everything, the messages and stuff. Yeah, there were a few that missed the mark, but that's always going to be the case. But I was nervous that people would hate it, because I notice sometimes if Perry gets in the weeds or if he is positive for any stretch of time, there's always people in the chat that are like or they say get mad. They just want him to get mad and yell. He did yell a couple of times tonight, but I don't think it was about that. So I don't know. I really appreciate people sticking with it and not hating it. Is my birthday a stream day? That is a good question. I don't know. My birthday is February 20th. And if I look ahead on the calendar, let's see. My birthday, it's a Sunday. I don't know if it's an off day or not. So I don't know. It might be. No, Tom, don't leave. I drank too hard and now I'm sick, but After Hours is helping me through it. Oh, I'm sorry. You can listen to an old After Hours on YouTube. Maybe that'll. What were you drinking? Can I talk about what I have Detective Banachek working on After Hours? I don't know anything about that, to be honest with you. But I know Banachek was a great TV series in the 70s, starring George Papard. Take care. This was a nice stream, but can't wait until Friday back to normal. Yeah, Friday will be a media share. We'll be back to normal. I just hope it's good for Perry, and he, because he's been pretty volatile lately. So I hope this was a nice. He deserved a nice night. He deserved a night of no McDonald's and things like that. And I am going to probably have to curb McDonald's for a little bit, or ask people legitimately not to send it for a bit, because he's getting a little too lit from it, and it's not good for the overall stream. Few glasses of bourbon and 2 beers. Ooh, did you do the bourbon first and then switch to beer? I hope. Was it liquor then beer, never fear? Beer then liquor, never sicker, was always the way it went. Who made the BBC YouTube videos from the stream? With the first appearance. The first appearance of the Cowboy song was not BBC YouTube. BBC YouTube is Wes Most, who's very talented and puts a lot of work into those. But that wasn't the person that introduced the Cowboy song was Belly Full of Swans in a media share. However long ago that was, it wasn't the BBC. Weezy says, tonight was awesome, TomB. More I learn about you and Perry, the more I like you. Well, same, Weezy. Wait, who's the comedian that Weezy was supposed to be with tonight? I forgot. It was George. Was it George Wallace? That's a good pairing. Weezy Jefferson and George Wallace. Always do the hard stew first. I'm just more of a lightweight than I used to be. Yeah, I noticed that too. If I take a break from drinking anything, and I go in and out of it. I don't drink to get drunk. I really don't. I'm a social drinker, and I'll if I feel myself getting a light buzz, I'll stop. I don't drink. I don't remember the last time I was really drunk. It's very rare, and I've got reasons why I don't. I think I've probably mentioned it on the stream. I won't get into it, but I don't like feeling completely out of not out of control, but like out of the realm of self-governing, where I can pull things back. I like feeling a little loose and loosening up, especially if you go out to like a nice dinner. I like going to a bar and drinking, but I don't like to I don't like to get gross and drunk. Mainly because if I go out with people, I like to be the one that looks after other people. I don't want somebody looking after me. If that makes any sense. Like I don't want to like I don't want my friends to be in a bad way. Although I haven't gone out with a big group in a while, but if I'm in that situation, I kind of like to be the one that is the not sober one because I like to have a little fun, but not go all the way. George Wallace, one of the best stand-ups ever. You know, I don't think I've ever seen George Wallace's stand-up. I think I saw him on an HBO special like years ago, but I don't remember it. But yeah, a lot of people say George Wallace is a great stand-up, and it probably is. Drunk and rowdy? No, I don't do drunk and rowdy. No, I don't like. I'm not an angry drunk either. I'm a very friendly drunk. If I do get drunk, I don't have. No, I don't have those rowdy instincts when I drink. I can be sober and rowdy, but not drunk and rowdy. They don't. And luckily, I luckily, because some people, they just get like nasty. Like I have some friends that have really nasty, a nasty side to them that comes out when drinking. I'll say that. Tom is a caretaker by nature. I guess that's true, Kelly, in a way. But yeah, I don't know. I think you gotta if like let's say 4 people go out, you don't all want to get like disgustingly drunk. You gotta have one person that hangs back a little bit. And I'm not even talking about driving. That's a whole different other thing. I'm basically talking about like city drunk, where you can just like walk around and whatever, get an Uber home or something. But yeah, lately I haven't been doing that. I mentioned not a long time ago, but like I had my childhood best friend died being drunk and with his drunk friends by being like just like stupid, like playing around, and like he got pushed down some stairs and hit his head, and it was just really bad news. So I always have that in the back of my head too. I was like, I don't ever want to get that drunk where that could happen. Either that happens to me or happens to somebody that I know, and I can't have the quick wherewithal to like prevent that from happening, that kind of thing. Most is when I drink alone, I prefer to be by myself. Yeah, but I'll drink alone sometimes too. But it'll just be one drink or two. You know what I mean? Like just to chill out. Not once in a while I'll get more buzzed than I want to be because I underestimate the strength of the drink. If I'm drinking a cocktail, beer, I know what I'm doing. Not that I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm in for with beer. No, you're not talking about George Wallace, the politician. No, George Wallace, the comedian. Yeah. I don't know about the politician doing any stand-up routines. Actually, now talking about drinking, now I kind of feel like another drink, but I'm gonna resist that urge and go to bed because it's 4 a.m. East Coast time. That's 1 a.m. Perry's time. But yeah, I'm gonna try to have that video tomorrow of Perry at Costco, and you're gonna want to see it if you're on Patreon. Trust me on that. Try not to spoil it too if you see it, and like it's almost gonna be impossible not to spoil it. There's gonna be a few people that see it for the first time and kind of experience it the way it should be experienced, and then it'll be spoiled pretty easily. So I shouldn't even say that. But yeah, thank you. Props to Tom and PCL staff. Thanks to everything. Yes, thanks to PCL staff. Thanks to myself, Joey, Garrett, Shaft, and even Hero, who hasn't been around, but we love Hero too. So we'll see you on Friday for Media Share Friday, and that should be fun. And thanks everybody for being really cool tonight and liking this stream, because it's good that we could have a stream like this be as as popular as it was and get that many views and everything. But I promise you, Friday will be a different animal, but still be good. And you can still love Perry and have fun too. But all right, good night, guys. Sweet dreams. Enjoy your Thursdays, and we'll see you on Friday.